chapter 28 and verse 28. The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart.
He said madness, blindness, and astonishment of heart. You know what that is? That's mental illness. Madness. You ever heard that? Oh, this man is mad. It's a madman. It means he's going crazy. All the things that we experience in this life, brothers talking to themselves, you muttering to yourself in a corner, flinching because you've been through things. Our people talking to themselves on corners, we're cursed. You sitting up here we go through all these type of things. He said madness and blindness. Read on.
Verse 29, and thou shalt grope at noonday, as a blind gropeth in darkness.
Hold on, he said you're going to grope at noonday as a blind man gropes in darkness. What does it mean? At noon, the sun is at its highest point. He said, why would you be groping? Why would you be trying to reach for something when the sun's at its highest point? You've gone mad. You're blind. Not all of our people are literally blind, but how many of our people are reaching for things that aren't there? Both physically and metaphorically. Looking for something to be able to connect. Our people, it's unfortunate seeing the circumstances that we've been put in. See the places that we're in. Hear the stories of the trauma, of the wounds that are inflicted upon our hearts and our minds just by being alive. Right. But the reality is that these are curses put upon us by God for our disobedience. We basically kids in timeout, and it's rough. We in a timeout with all the bad kids. You gotta learn how to survive in this timeout. And literally, you have to do right to be able to get out of the class. So when all the other kids, they doing wrong, they coming together against the teacher, which is God, right? All the other nations are gathered about, ready to fight against the Most High. All these nations, they trying to get into space and come up with a space force. You seen America come up with it? What's out in the heavens that they plan on fighting?
Wake them up.
What's up there that America plans on going to war against? They're trying to go to war against God. They got all these nuclear weapons and ain't nobody using them against each other. They trying to hold off. They trying to hold the peace. Let us all wait just a little while longer so we can fight against the king. So we can fight against the God that when he comes from the heavens. They got missiles that go into space and come back down. Why would it need to be capable of so much? Because it needs to just make it into heaven for them to go to war. So all these things that have happened and all these things that these other nations are doing, we have to make sure that we're not partakers of these sins. That's the only way that we can do right. All these other nations, you know, they was the original gangsters, the Italians, the Jewish. Then they taught us that kind of stuff. Now we walking around with that mentality. That was never for us. Man, they got to get out of here. But we got to do differently while we're here. That's the hard part. And that's what the world teaches us, right? If you get done wrong, you're supposed to do wrong. That's not the truth. What do they say? An eye for an eye leaves everybody blinded. Eye for an eye leaves everybody blind. So it's eye for eye versus our enemies, but amongst our own, we can't have this eye for eye mentality. We reserve that for our enemies. And when they rise against us, then we say, okay, eye for an eye. Read on. We're at 29.
And thou shalt grope at noonday, as a blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee.
He said we're not going to prosper in all of our ways. We be trying to get businesses started. We be trying to just survive, trying to make better for ourselves, and so often it doesn't work out. Why? Because God is not allowing it to prosper. So many people don't believe in God, and you feeling God every day of your life. Every time that you set out, you didn't cross your T's and dotted your I's, and it fails. You feeling God. When you wake up in the morning and you hear them gunshots, when you look around at the poverty of your neighborhood, when you getting looked at, trying to be different, and you still getting viewed as somebody that's a threat, you still getting pressed, you still getting, they want to tap your pockets. You're feeling the presence of God because he put these curses upon our people. You know why? Because God was ready to give us everything. Right. He was ready to give us our own land. We already had our own God. He gave us our own culture. He was ready to give us separation from the other nations, to rain down blessings from heaven. And he did many a time. He showed himself to our forefathers. Then when we increased to a multitude in Egypt, the first thing he did was perform miracles to show us that he was with us as our God. But yet and still we disobeyed. But now that we're going through hell, now you looking for what used to be good to you, right? Now that we hungry, you looking for somebody that was willing to feed you. Now that you cold, you looking for somebody that's willing to clothe you. Now that you're going through these unfortunate circumstances, you're looking for better. And that better is the Most High God. Read on.
Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her.
Does that not happen all the time in our communities? That's just a popular thing to do now, right? Everybody want to be Mr. Steal Your Girl. It's like you can't even hear music hardly anymore without hearing somebody talk about he's going to take another man's wife. He's going to take another man's woman. That's not normal. These other nations are not bragging about that. Only our people are, and that's a curse. All these broken households, all these cases of adultery, all these single parent homes, that's a result of these curses. Read on.
Thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and thou shalt not gather the grapes thereof. Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Thine ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee.
So when you see our people back in slavery, it was so-called Negroes, right? We was out in the fields. You still have a lot of our 10 tribes, so-called Latino brothers, that are in fields. What is it, Driscoll's? All these farms?
Yeah, well, up north, all northern
Con.
farms.
The vineyard? Who do you think's working at? These white folks not out there working like that.
The grapevine.
The grapevine. They're not out there working the grapevine. Our people are working the grapevine. We're picking these grapes, and don't none of us get to actually profit doing this for another nation. All that. He said your ox and your ass would be violently taken away, our animals being taken. And hardly none of us have access to flocks, able to go independent. Read on.
Thy sheep shall be given into thine enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them.
32.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the days long.
He said our sons and our daughters are going to go into captivity, and we're only going to be able to look and wish that we could have them. You got to send your kids to school, right? You be glad. Most of our people, we're not getting into SC. They got like a 0.1% of so-called African Americans, and it's somewhere similar of so-called Latinos. Very small percentage of our people are making it into prestigious universities, are making it into having more opportunity. He said all these things, our sons and our daughters are going into captivity right after being born. You got a couple years before they go off into school and they get taught whatever it is that this system in this land has established for them. You don't have control over your life or your children's life. Does that sound like we're blessed? Does that sound like a life worth living? Drop down to verse 68. Our people are going through these curses, experiencing these things on a daily basis, time after time after time, tragedy after tragedy after tragedy, all because we disobeyed our God. And he's constantly doing things to show us more and more before we finally get to where the brother was just a moment ago. He said, man, I'm just looking for something. And when you're in a humble estate, that's when our people are willing to hear. That's when our people decide to take on that willing spirit. That's hopefully what all of our people decide to do. But Christ already said, it's already been prophesied, it's only going to be 1/3 of us that make that decision. But that's why we're here in these conditions. Because in the land that we don't have anything, we're looking for something. And that's when we're willing to adhere to the laws of our God. That's when we're willing to repent and change our stiff neck. Read on.
Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by where thereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
He says, so what nation on earth has been taken into slavery on ships? Let me ask you. Hey, with the Michigan hoodie, let me ask you, what nation on earth has been taken into slavery on ships? You're a college student?
What nation?
Come on, don't insult my intelligence. I'm not going to insult yours. What nation of people, just yell it from across the street. Yelling from across the street. What nation of people went into slavery on slave ships? you didn't want to answer. We all know. It's all good. Hey, you know what? I get it. And I probably wouldn't have answered that question in your position either. That's like, you standing on the line. They're like, was you there at the scene? I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I remember. I heard her say that. Yeah, he knows what's up, because only our people have gone into slavery. And before it was the so-called Negroes, Latinos, so-called Latinos went into slavery. Y'all heard of Bartolome de las Casas, the conquistadors that came to the islands and were killing all these people? Can we get them a literature right here in this black car? This is both. Dang. Oh no. You is Spanish cool? Oh, cool. Yeah, give him one. All praises. You see that's what's happened with our people. They're made out of paper. We should never run out.
That's what I'm saying.
You see that's what's happened with our people, right? Our people have gone into slavery, but when you read the Bible, it says that this would only happen to the children of Israel.
That's right.
So if we've gone into slavery and it would only happen to the children of Israel, what does that make us? It's simple to connect the dots, right? Give me Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. We don't have a lot of time. I think it's like 20 or 30 minutes left. We was only going to be out here for so long, but when I was talking to the brother, you know what I'm saying? Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. At the end of the day, because you see all these conditions that we're in. You know our history. It's always been one of trauma and pain. But at the end of the day, what are we supposed to do to be able to escape? Right? Let me ask you, brother, can I ask you right here with the skateboard? Can I ask you a quick question? We just read a verse that said that yeah, you've been indoctrinated, but have you ever learned for yourself?
So was that his wife that he got pregnant?
She didn't get pregnant by an angel. Her husband Joseph got her pregnant. That's in the Bible. Yeah, he was human. Hey, how you gonna make a point and walk? I thought we was having a conversation. Let's talk. Yeah, let's have a conversation.
That's right.
Hey, cause what I understand is.
Let me ask you a question. You have a bike, sir.
Oh no, it's not gonna work like that.
Okay.
But what I will do is I'll speak
this?
your question out loud so
How
people
about
can hear
this?
you. Yes.
Would you drown your kids to teach them a lesson?
No.
Well, God drowned the whole world. No, he didn't.
Not all of his children.
He didn't flood
Those weren't all of his children. Hold on.
Okay.
Those weren't all of his children. Let me ask you this, right?
Okay.
Hold on. Let me ask you a
Are we
simple
all
question.
God's children or not?
No.
No?
That's not what the Bible says.
Okay.
That's not what the Bible says.
Pick a Bible to stick to.
Yeah, we
Because
picked this one.
I will go to the next church right here, and the next church right here, and the next church right here, and they will all see. Do you know how many different
I
forms
can't
of
explain.
Christianity they are?
Yeah, we're not.
They teach theology right here at this college, bro.
Okay.
Theology is the history of God throughout the whole world and all of time. It goes all the way back to shamanism. And you can see like the Epic of Gilgamesh, which is where.
And look how badly it's damaged our people. You telling me? Hold on.
Instead of them,
Hold on, let me talk to you.
taking responsibility for themselves,
Yeah.
they ask for forgiveness after they do something stupid. Right.
That's not what the Bible teaches you.
That's called vicarious redemption, homie. That's not a good thing.
That's not what the Bible teaches you.
Will he forgive you for anything as long as you ask?
No.
No.
He said blasphemy is unforgivable.
So he is not forgiving. He's not.
You're asking two different questions. I didn't say he was not forgiving. You said, will he forgive you for anything? And the answer is no.
Okay, what would he not forgive you for?
For anything that you know is wrong.
Come on, bro. You gotta be specific, man. You can't
Okay,
just be
let me go to
like
Hebrews
that.
10 and 25.
Is killing somebody wrong?
Of course.
Okay, so will he forgive you for killing somebody?
Not if you did it in wickedness. If you've been a murderer, listen to this, right? You have instances.
So if a murderer
Hold
reforms
on.
himself
Listen for a
and he asks
second.
for forgiveness,
Listen
we
for a
forgive him.
second. If he's reformed.
Okay, that's
a different.
redemption. No matter how you fucking slice it, you guys gotta be smarter about this stuff.
You know what a hold on. You know what a conversation. Wait.
Wait.
You understand conversations, right? There's a monologue and there's a conversation. Wait. Monologue and dialogue. What's the difference?
The difference.
Monologue. Give me monologue first.
Well, monologue is because I'm talking to you.
A one-sided conversation. A dialogue is what?
It's two-sided.
It's two-sided. So when you came up and you did a lot of the talking, you turned this dialogue into a monologue.
Now you want to go there. Okay.
I'm only talking to you because I'm trying to. Hold on. You're still monologuing. What I'm trying to do.
Yeah, but there's a reason for that. I'm trying to tell you.
Wait.
You gotta understand. When you bring out a book that doesn't have no proof, you're not on the dialogue.
Have you researched it?
Of course. I was fucking.
Okay, so is Sodom and Gomorrah still? Is there still brimstone in the Middle East right now burning?
Brimstone is literally in the whole fucking earth.
Is there brimstone in the Middle Earth
core is made
still
of brimstone.
burning?
Yes, our core is made of it.
But is
The
it
whole
burning?
Earth.
Not everybody's
It protects us-
bursting the flames.
It protects us with a magnetic shield, which is why the sun's rays doesn't wipe away our ozone layer, and thermosphere, troposphere, and stratosphere.
You've heard a lot of science, right?
Exactly.
But does not science?
None of it comes from this book.
Does not science contradict itself quite a few times?
Hell no, science corrects
Hold
itself.
on. Let me ask you before. Okay.
You're gonna ask me a question. You gotta let me answer.
Of course. I haven't asked you the question yet. The law of conversation. The law of conservation of mass.
You want to argue about how to have a conversation, or you want to argue about the facts?
Well, I'm trying to ask you a question.
But
The
it's
law of
just irrelevant to
conservation.
what you guys
Of
are-
course it is.
I don't see
the
why,
law.
'cause
You haven't listened. How could you have? How could you
I'm
see?
listening to you guys the whole way walking through here. You guys talking all this.
But I haven't been
bullshit.
speaking to you this whole time.
I don't give a fuck. You say
We
that,
have
I
a
hear you,
different.
bro.
We have to
Why?
have a different conversation.
You are on a mic,
But
bro.
me and you are gonna have a different conversation.
Bro,
So
you
listen,
have
just
one
listen to this.
conversation, bro. You have this Bible, which
Right.
is made up of all kinds of other books that came before it,
Like
the
what?
Epic of Gilgamesh. Do
I
you
don't-
even know what that is?
I don't think that that's one of the stories.
4,000 years older than this Bible. Yet
That's
this
great.
Bible tried to take the story and flip it for them. You don't even know these things.
So let me ask you a question. Did your people come from slavery?
Bro, what kind of question is that?
I'm looking at you.
I'm black
now-
in America. Is that simple or not?
God, absolutely. If I were to show you now the King James version, revised
You
in
even know who King
1619,
James was?
are you gonna let me finish one of my sentences?
You ain't talking that good.
I'd like to be able to talk great, but are you gonna let me
So
speak?
you should probably listen to a person that studied at a fucking college and not just read this.
A white man's college. Nigga, are your people over there in that college?
You know how many classes?
Standing there with the sword, is that a black man? No. So you've gone to a college by your oppressors, being educated by your oppressors. You're not impressing me. You're not
I
impressing
don't need
me.
to impress you.
You're not
You're the
amazing
one
me.
who's supposed to impress
I'm
other
trying to have a
people.
dialogue.
And
No,
you
I'm
need
trying to have a dialogue.
You
You've
need
been
to be
indoctrinated.
able-
You've
you
been
need to be able to
indoctrinated.
Bring out proof.
You've
Can
been
you?
indoctrinated.
Where is your proof for this?
Can I tell you?
Tell me.
Okay,
Good.
thank you.
Can you show me?
Absolutely.
Show me.
Absolutely.
Okay, go.
Okay, what specifically, what would you like to deal with first?
What are you basing it on that this is real?
Okay, I'll give you an example. I'll give you 3 examples.
Go ahead.
The existence of Jesus, you have the James
First, you
ossuary.
gotta prove the existence of Jesus before you use that one as an example. Skip to the next
Well,
one.
this is why, this is proves that he exists. It's something called the James ossuary.
Get the fuck, come on, bro.
Are you gonna research
really
it?
expect-
You have
I
a,
know what that is, bro.
Okay,
I'm telling you,
that's
skip
great.
to the next one because that was no good. Go.
it's definitely good because you haven't debunked
Get the
it.
fuck out of here, bro.
If
Come on.
you're a scholar and you know how debates work, you have to be
Let me
able to
ask you a
discredit.
simple question. Is Jesus
Wait,
trying to bring peace or war?
war.
Okay. Why would you fucking worship somebody like that?
Because war.
Wait.
Well, hold on. No. Everybody
Why do you
hold your
contemplate
peace.
war?
Hold your peace. Everybody hold your peace. My thing is, right?
It's stupid. It's comic book.
My thing is, okay. Have you heard about the plagues that were in Egypt?
Bro, yeah, we're the plague
Hold
right now.
on, answer. Hold on. You jump into the next thing. I'm trying to have a dialogue with you, and that's what I
Right,
explained.
That's what your problem is.
Hold
You're
on.
not- when you have something that's proof.
Hold on, brother.
That you're, like, when
Hold
when I-
on. Hold on.
Bro,
Just
no,
hold
you
on.
hold on, bro.
Just hold on. I'll let you speak for quite a bit of this
Bro,
time.
Bro.
You have something in Egypt called the Paparis, right? Have you ever heard of that?
Get the fuck out of here with
Have
that
you ever
shit,
heard of
bro.
it? Have you ever heard of it?
Bro.
Okay, one of the common things of scholars, hold on, just give me 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes.
Jesus ever in Egypt?
Hold on. You're asking and jumping to different questions, not giving me an opportunity to answer. Do you want to have a dialogue or
Was
not?
he ever in Egypt?
Do you want to have a conversation?
I don't. I want your proof.
I'm trying to answer your
You're
question.
not. You're trying to lead me down things that are anecdotal. You can't base your beliefs off anecdotal evidence.
No, I'm basing it off of history.
Bro.
I'm basing it off of history. I'm basing it
You
off
know
of
what I mean when I
prophecy.
say anecdotal evidence, do you? What other kinds of evidence are they besides anecdotal?
I'm basing it off of history.
Anecdotal evidence.
I'm
what
basing it off of prophecy.
What types of evidence are there besides anecdotal? Do you even know?
Brother, this is the thing. Out of all the college,
No.
okay, let me say this. Let me say this, right? So you said, does Jesus exist? I said the James
No, I didn't
ossuary.
say does Jesus. I know he didn't exist.
Listen, you know why you think you know he doesn't
no,
exist?
It's not because I think. It's
Because you've gone to a white man's college. As black as you are, you trust in a white man.
Bro.
You are descendant of a slave,
Anybody-
proudly trusting in your oppressor.
If you have to.
How is that something honorable for you?
if you
Do
have-
you know how badly your forefathers
if
fought
you-
so that we could be free?
If you
so
have-
that you could not be
You know how
subject
bad
to your
forefathers fought
oppressors?
So we could go to school. If you have to ditch school to make your point,
So-
you're bullshitting.
So you should be able to self-educate. Malcolm X said only a fool will let his enemies educate his children. You've been educated by your enemies, and you're blown away that I don't want that same bullshit.
Bro, I could go to this.
You're blown away that I don't want the same bullshit.
I'm not blown away.
You are. You're blown away.
I'm blown away that you guys can stand here.
You're blown away because you have never heard this. You've never heard this.
Words about. Now who's a monologue? Who's a dialogue? You're trying to tell me things.
I literally haven't had a chance to talk much at all.
Bro, you have, but what did you
I said 3 points.
You start off with some bullshit.
Alright, you have a good one.
Exactly.
Alright, cool.
You guys should be ashamed of yourself, all of you motherfuckers.
As big as you are, you trusting a white man, bro.
First of all,
listen, this is about our people. This is about our people. That's not violence. That's purpose. Hold on. We're good.
Look, this is violence, okay?
We're having a dialogue. Look, I've studied, but what I want to do is, if you're a scholar, hold on. If you're a scholar, should you not be able to come with your education?
I'm trying to, but you're not listening.
No. You're not, because you're not listening.
One thing before I go.
Okay.
Anything that separates people is inherently violent.
And where did you get that from? Your oppressors? Because God forbid you separate from them.
Can you think for a second?
Absolutely.
Anything that separates is inherently violent.
Which says what?
Because it creates a us,
okay.
to them.
Yes. Let me show you this.
Not
only am I violent, but our God is violent. Our God is violent. Our God is violent. You know what that means? That means if somebody broke into your house, you gonna let them do what they want to or rape your wife, or you gonna blow their head off?
This is the only reason.
Hold on. I asked you a simple question.
Into your back.
Okay. And you believe in what?
What are these?
You believe in what?
I have proof.
So you created yourself?
Oh my God.
All right,
do you even
cool.
know the concept of a universal nothing?
Okay, but let me say this.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So I asked you about science, the law of conservation of mass.
You know about science. You believe in this fucking book. You wouldn't even believe in it if you know about science.
The science in itself is just the law of explanation of how things work. I have one question. The Big Bang Theory is a theory that protons, neutrons, and electrons all packed into a very small wormhole and exploded, thus creating the Big Bang, right? The law of conservation of mass says that matter cannot be created nor destroyed, which means the energy... Wait, you almost let me finish and you were doing good. Just hold on. I kid you not, right? I kid you not. The law of conservation of mass says that matter cannot be created nor destroyed. So if matter was already here and the energy that created everything was already here, how foreign is it to call that energy God, to say that it was not random, that every single human, we all are born with 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 1 nose... I'm asking you, this is still all part of the question.
I'm listening.
What do they call it? A multifaceted question? Am I using that properly?
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is a multifaceted question. Okay, so I'm going to start from the top because I was interrupted.
I got you.
The law of conservation of...
not being able to create or destroy is law of conservation, but it's not. That is the second law of thermodynamics. You didn't even know your fucking science, bro.
Okay, that's incredible. So as far as I know, if you look up the law of conservation of mass, it's going to say that matter...
Thermodynamics.
Well, then I'll call it the second law of thermodynamics.
No shit. You're over here fucking talking shit.
I'm not a scientist. I'll be honest with you. You got me. I'm not a scientist. What I can show you is that there were curses in Egypt, right? The sun went black. The firstborn died, and you have historical proof of that happening. Now, one thing that I've learned in my little bit of studying is that oftentimes everybody, like the scriptures say, a man will proclaim his own goodness. And what that means is when history is told by the victor, you're oftentimes getting inaccurate history because you're only getting history from one side. And if I was the victor of a story, I'm going to tell the best story I could tell. If there was a chihuahua coming after me and my wife and I kicked the dog, best believe if I get to tell my story, I'm going to tell you I slayed a beast. You wasn't there. So when history is written, it's always written from a perspective of the victors. But you have in Egypt, which was on the losing side of history, was on the losing side of the parting of the Red Sea, on the losing side of the death of the firstborn, recording that all those things happened. You have the James Ossuary proving the existence of Jesus. You have all these historical facts and all this historical proof that shows the validity of the Bible. But that's if you choose to take the time to hear. A lot of our people don't want to hear. You've been given theology. You've been given ideology. You've been taught everything is about what you want. And anything that contradicts the simplest desire that you have must be something that you should avoid. And now because everybody gets to come up with their own standard, you have men who don't want to be men. You have women who don't want to be women. You have little boys thinking they're little girls and little girls saying they're little boys. That's because everybody can come up with their own standard. That's because everybody comes up with their own standard. Then you have so many of our people who get indoctrinated. You've been taught by your enemies it's the worst thing in the world to separate yourself and isolate yourself. But you're constantly taught that you can do anything that you want. How can I be successful and in an exclusive position unless I'm willing to isolate myself? Give me Exodus 15:3. I wouldn't even go this route.
Bring it out.
Most of the time, we try to be as agreeable as possible, right? I'm not going to say docile, but we're not belligerent either. Exodus 15:3. Because so many of y'all have been given a misconception about God. You've been deceived. Read that.
This is Exodus chapter 15 and verse 3.
And I hope you can hear me, brother, with the locks.
The Lord is a man of war.
The Lord is what?
The Lord is a man of war.
Read it again.
The Lord is a man of war.
When you say that that's violence, that we're making a separation, man, I'm not going to disagree with you. That's not a shock. Our men have been told to be so soft and so docile, you're willing to let anything happen. No, you have to go to war. I know that's a controversial opinion, but has not America laid that foundation?
Nice dresses.
We in shirts. Now see, you didn't heard that from somewhere else. We don't even have a girt on, but you thought you had one. And the crazy part about it is we've sat still. You done passed by 3 or 4 times. If you're that hurt, then come and have a conversation. I do believe I dealt very peaceably until you continue to insult and continue to instigate. We out here for our people, but you also have to be out here understanding that what we've been given has been wrong. If we so educated, why can't we save ourselves from captivity?
That's right. That's right.
You can't get yourself out of this physical slavery here in America. You so educated you can't free yourself. You probably on your way to work or school. So you're either on your way into captivity or you're on your way to be indoctrinated. And America has taught you that you're the best version of a so-called Negro man that you can be. Because you're peaceful. Not even peaceful, you're docile. Peaceful is, I know I'm capable of great violence, but I'm going to choose to reserve it for a right time. They say a good man is not a calm man. It's not a safe man. They say a good man is a very dangerous man who has control. That's a good man. America teaches its own. They teaching white folks that. They teaching their people to be like warriors and a poet society. You seen a college student just a moment ago. He jogging miles on end. They're adopting these principles. They're telling you to be at peace. They're telling you to be afraid. They're telling you to click up with your enemies. You made it when you get you a white girl or an Asian. How? A lot of our people have lost. A lot of our people are lost. Constantly buying into the theologies of our enemies. Constantly buying into the theologies of your oppressor. What in the world makes you think that a man who brought your forefathers here as slaves, who benefits from you daily going into your job, daily keeping this infrastructure alive and running, daily from breaking your body to build his kingdom, what makes you think a man who benefits from your demise will ever teach you how to live?
That's right. That's right.
What makes you think that that's the case? And if you make it to SC, they make it seem like you didn't made it. You go through years of college and you get out, what's your nationality? Well, one graduate's going to say he's African American. Another one's going to say that he's Negro. Another one's going to say that he's American. Another one's going to say that he doesn't believe in race. You come out of college more confused than you went in. At least before you went into this college, you knew some sense of who you were and who your people are. After a couple of years of being scrubbed down, they telling you now, don't make a separation at all. But they making separations. They separate their businesses into their neighborhoods and only come into yours when it's a benefit. They have their churches and their banks. Go into an Asian bank and try to open a bank account. I bet you haven't. And I bet you won't. Look, y'all know I'm speaking facts. Go into these other neighborhoods and see if you're welcomed. You see white boys walking through Compton, through Inglewood, through LA, unbothered. Go to Beverly Hills and see if you'll be given that same luxury. Or see if you'll get pulled over because you fit a description. See if you'll get hemmed up because you was where you wasn't supposed to be. See if they find you to be stepping out of bounds. It's called redlining. Because like the scriptures say, he frames mischief by a law. They're not going to outwardly tell you that they're still your enemies. They didn't even the playing field. We can read, we can write, we can purchase firearms. If we sit up here and recognize who our enemies are, what's to stop us from saying we're tired of it? But the longer that they give you these things and they say, but you got to be educated. Don't have any kids and you're not educating your children. Oh my goodness. Don't have any kids and you're not going to send them off to college. What kind of future are you giving them? And you spend all these years of your life being dedicated to the building up of your oppressor's kingdom. This is a mind-blowing concept, but we'd rather invest in our own people. I'm going to say it again. This might be a mind-blowing concept, but we'd rather invest in our own people. We're trying to build up our own kingdom. And the foundation of any kingdom, America shows you this. They went to war, and the first thing they did, they signed the Declaration of Independence, which had laws. The first way for us to be able to establish our kingdom is by establishing our law. It's that simple. So when you read in the Bible and you see thou shalt and thou shalt not, when you read you may touch these animals, but of these they shall be an abomination. You read you can take a wife, but you cannot take your neighbor's wife. That is law. It's that simple. We're coming out to give our people a sense of the law, to establish our kingdom within the laws and confines of our God. This is the first step. You want to do something for your people? Come and start keeping the commandments. Join, it don't even have to be us, but join a body of righteous Israelites. We happen to be here today. Join a body. Unite with your people. Stop being indoctrinated. Stop taking everything that's handed to you by your oppressor, by your enemy. It's not a mind-blowing concept. But it is mind-blowing if you spent so many years studying science, so many years being told that separation is violence, and being told that you could be a 6'5", 6'7", you a big old dude talking about how peaceful you are. So if somebody break into your house, no separation, they're welcome. Somebody's coming for your wife. He in the house right now. You gonna let him have her? I'm be real. You're not a man that I can ride beside. You're not somebody that I'm willing to lay my life down on the line for until you can say these things can't stand. And I'm willing to do what our God has commanded me. Then you're somebody I can stand next to. Then you're somebody I can lay my life down for. Then you're somebody that I'm willing to fight alongside.